That's what Christians are supposed to do. Problem is, most people that call themselves Christians are really not born again, and it's evidenced by the way they live their lives. So
I commend your dedication.
I'm just being obedient. Jesus said it. I'm doing my best to do it. See, most people, they follow the devil. Did you know that?
Oh man, been there, done that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Even in the church buildings, people follow the devil. It says right here, it says, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. Talking about being righteous like Jesus Christ. He that committeth sin is of the devil. It says committeth sin. That's the present participle, ETH. Constantly committing sin. Wants to commit sin. Committeth. On and on and on and on and on. He that committeth sin is of the devil. The devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
Can you just take your microphone? It's really distracting.
Well, I want to.
Nobody else is listening.
Yeah,
right now.
there's nobody over there.
It's just me and you.
If somebody else comes over. It says, for this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. See, the works of the devil need to be destroyed. And that's coming in due time. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. So when somebody's born of God, they're going to do righteousness. How do you know what righteousness is? It's written in the book. 66 books, 1,189 chapters, almost 8 million letters, for whatever that's worth.
It was written a long time ago. There's a lot happened since then.
Well, that's true, but
a lot of shit going on.
But truth doesn't change.
Although truth is subjective.
You believe in the laws of logic?
Of course.
How do you justify the laws of logic? Where do they come from?
What I see, what I believe.
So you decide what the laws of logic are.
Within reason.
So the laws of logic can change?
Anything changes. Everything changes.
So there is no truth.
Truth is subjective.
Are you sure? So you don't.
Everything
So you don't.
In this world, truth is subjective.
So you don't believe in right and wrong.
I do believe in right and wrong, but right and wrong.
Well, how do you justify right and wrong?
Right and wrong are ideas. They are subjective to our culture.
Okay, so do you think in another culture, George Floyd being murdered by a police officer would be good? Would be right?
It has been proven that cultures thought that it would have been right or correct.
Right. Cultures have said that, but would it actually be right?
I don't think it's right.
Well, it wasn't right in America, right? But you're saying in all other cultures things like that can change. So do you think that in other cultures it would be okay to murder people?
For my beliefs and my belief in our culture, I don't believe it was right. Objectively, it's wrong. But there are cultures that it could have been considered to be right.
So would you say that they are right because that's their culture?
It's not for me to say.
So you
I
would
can only speak for my belief in our culture and my personal views on things.
So you think like rape is wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. There's cultures.
Consent first.
Is rape wrong or not?
Consent first and always.
Okay. What if there's no consent?
If there's no consent, it's not right.
Okay. There's some cultures in the world that say that rape is okay. Are they right or are they wrong?
I do know that. From my personal beliefs, they are wrong.
Okay.
But I'm not the end-all be-all, right?
So you're not sure. You're right. I'm not. The Word of God is
Just telling you what I personally believe to be right.
Okay. But in verse 5, Genesis 9:5, and surely your blood of your lives will I require, at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man.
So eye for an eye?
No, not eye for an eye, but it's for
life for life is
right.
Like.
Right, and that was part of the law. Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Yes, eye for an eye also. And that would be a great deterrent.
If say I killed somebody, you killed me in retribution for that.
No.
Under the law,
no, government. The government should do it.
Somebody has to kill that person, though.
Right, and the government should do it.
But somebody has to either pull the trigger, plunge the needle.
Correct.
So if they're killing somebody, they are themselves worthy of death.
They're obeying God's law.
But it doesn't seem that way. It seems like if you kill somebody, you are worthy of death. So if you're the executioner, you yourself is worthy of death for taking life.
But the creator of life, I just read it to you. I just read it to you what God said.
It seemed pretty black and white. If you take life, you are deserving of death.
Right, by man's hand. By man's hand.
Contradiction to me. Like, how do you justify taking a life if you think taking a life is reprehensible under the word of the Lord? Right?
Well,
how can you justify it to yourself? If you're saying somebody
I don't have to do that.
Life,
I don't have to do that. I don't have to justify it to myself.
Well, but if you're saying somebody's worthy of death, you should be willing to hand out the death. In my personal view.
Right. If that was my job, say that officer, whatever, he gets convicted in whatever, and I'm on that, whatever that team, if that's my job, and I'm supposed to, shoot this guy, hang this guy, or whatever.
They should die. You should be willing to kill them for those crimes, right?
Under the government, under the hand.
You obviously don't care that much about the government. It's the word, right?
Yeah, God established government. God established government. If you're a
believer in that, then you should be willing to take a life if it's justifiable, right?
Yes, if it's been proven, and under the government.
How do you determine if it's provable?
By that 2 or 3 witnesses. By 2 or 3 witnesses.
Okay, so saying you were a part of that team, that committee, whatever it is, that says it's justifiable. This person did commit murder.
Yeah.
They should die, according to this book.
Yeah. I just read it to you. Yeah.
You did. Are you gonna kill him?
Yeah.
To be honest, you would kill somebody.
If that was my government duty, yeah. Just like the military.
I'm just saying.
Just like in the I was in the military.
So was I.
So we've done a lot of things.
My job description was to close with and destroy the enemy by means of fire and maneuver. Are you willing to deal with that? Yeah,
if that was my job, sure. If I was a prison, whatever. I mean, you've seen like the Green Mile or stuff like that. If I was one of those guys, yeah, if that was my job, yeah, I would do it.
But the point of the Green Mile was he didn't deserve death.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's probably not a good example because Hollywood.
One of the worst examples in movies.
Hollywood is so manipulative.
The whole thing about Green Mile was he didn't deserve death, but he was given death as his sentence, and they had to carry it out because that was their job.
Yeah. It's because why that happens, right?
It was made to make us question the
death
penalty.
Well, that's because people lie. It's because people are liars. That's why God hates liars so much.
Yeah, maybe lies.
I
guarantee you've lied at some point in your day.
I've lied, I've stolen, I've fornicated, I've done drugs. I used to get drunk. If I wasn't born again, I'd be over there, probably at home, getting drunk, looking at pornography or whatever. So yeah, I was as wicked as they come. So I've done more sin than like I said, I was in the military, and that was the thing. You get off work, and what do? You go out and sin, get drunk, get laid, raise hell, right? Yeah, it's a lifestyle of sin. By and large, not everyone, but
it was the culture.
By and large, yeah, it's a wicked culture.
It has to be.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
How do you?
I came out of that culture. I got born again while I was in the Navy, and I didn't do that wickedness anymore. Nobody has to do that. It's a choice.
Objectively,
anybody else.
What you do seems to be antagonistic to most people and their beliefs.
That's true.
And just because you don't agree with them doesn't mean that you're right or they're wrong.
Well, I'm inherently right because I have the Word of God. I have the author of what is right.
That is your point of view.
Well, that is the truth. And you're going to know the truth when you face Him.
To your point of view.
That's not my point of view. It was true. It was true before I got born again. It's been always true.
We're going to know until we actually die.
No, you
that's
know right now. I've told you right now. You're going to face God and you're going to be judged. You
and
know.
I'll do that if that comes to it.
Well, and if you're not
And
born
I'm
again,
not going to regret shit that I've done.
well, then your prideful self is going to be thrown into the lake of fire, and you're going to be on fire forever.
Well, that's on me, isn't it?
I mean, I just have to be loving enough to tell you, to warn you and tell you how to be saved. The rest is on you.
I appreciate your belief in this.
It's not my belief, it's the truth. It existed before I believed it.
I'm trying to understand your point of view, try to understand mine.
Okay.
For a little bit. Most people. I understand that it comes from truly held beliefs, but it comes across as really antagonistic.
Yeah.
And most people aren't going to respond to that. And if you really want to get your message across, I'm telling you, this isn't the way to do it.
Well, I have to listen to what God says rather than what you say.
Does he say to do this?
He said to preach His word. You know, it's a Bible verse up here, and you know, go out and preach the Bible. People don't like it. They don't like it when Jesus preached.
I mean, wasn't his first miracle to turn water into wine? So is alcohol really the enemy here?
Well, you're assuming that the wine that Jesus made out of water is alcoholic.
Isn't that the definition of wine? It's a fermented alcoholic beverage.
Not in the Word of God. It talks about new wine. We'd call it grape juice. It hasn't had a chance to ferment. Jesus just made it, and He could have made it with alcohol, but there's no reason to assume that He did.
There's no reason to assume He didn't.
And there's no
By that same logic, right?
And if He did make it alcoholic wine, which you could argue He didn't make anybody drink it. He didn't make anybody get drunk. God also made.
But
He also made marijuana.
It's a product of man. Therefore, it's a product of God. Especially when we talk about marijuana. It's a plant.
Yeah.
He made it, right?
Yeah. That doesn't mean you can smoke it.
Doesn't mean you can't.
You can't, you know, just because there's magic mushrooms out there doesn't mean you can eat psilocybin. Just because there's poppy seeds doesn't mean it's okay to make heroin and shoot up and die. Just because God made it, God made babies. You're not going to smoke babies, are you? Just because
I don't know why I would.
Just because God made something doesn't mean you can smoke it.
Why would He make it in such a way that if you did smoke it, it did something to you?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
We can
that would be specifically that would be a problem.
Yeah. Because you're supposed to be sober-minded. The Bible commands us to be sober-minded. Where Jesus said to love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And if you got it full of drugs or alcohol or full of sports idolatry, if your mind's jammed full of worldly things or some sort of intoxicant, you can't love God with all of your mind. And Jesus commanded us to love God with all of our mind. He gave you that gray matter between your ears. He gave you the ability to function and speak and, to see and all that stuff. We're supposed to love Him with it. And when we do that, when we drop acid and we don't see the things that are around us in reality, we hallucinate, we can't love God like we're supposed to. That's why. Well, see, the Christian God of the Bible, He knows everybody. He knows everybody's heart. And He knows what they would do with being presented with the gospel of salvation. So if there's anybody on that island that could be saved, God knows it.
Well, the last missionary that went there, I think it was like 3 years ago, died.
Yeah.
After being warned. He went there before they told him to go away.
Right.
He came back and
well, that guy wasn't following God's word. If he believed,
he was a missionary.
For what? There's Mormon missionaries. There's Jehovah's Witness missionaries.
It's a form of Christianity.
No, it's false religion. It's a lot closer to Freemasonry, actually, than Christianity.
I don't know what sect he came from, but he was a Christian missionary.
Well, he called himself a Christian, but if he actually believed the Bible, he would have read the part where it says if they reject you from a city, shake the dust off your feet and leave. But he didn't obey that, and he died. Now, he might have been a Christian, he just wasn't following it, and he paid with his life. Nonetheless, if that guy was actually a Christian...
He was doing the best he could as far as I'm aware.
If that guy was actually a Christian and he just made that one mistake by going back twice after they kicked him out, they had their opportunity. It's not God's fault. It's not God's fault they didn't hear the gospel. If God sent somebody there with the Bible and the gospel and the way of salvation and they kill that guy, that's on them.
He was the first person to go there for a long time, probably a generation.
But see, that's how it is with all man, though. If anybody can be saved, God knows it, and God will get the word to them.
There's so many people that existed outside of Christianity that I guess they're doomed to hell now. That's my big problem with Christianity.
So you think it's not fair?
Not fair. You can't have
What's your name, by the way? My name's Kenneth.
Andrew.
Andrew. Corona phone. So anyway, you said everybody's dealt the hand. Yeah, but anybody could be saved. Anybody could hear the gospel and be saved.
Not everybody's going to hear it.
If they could be saved, God would make sure that they got it somehow. They would either hear it, that they would get some sort of, they may find a gospel tract somewhere, whatever it is. If there's a man on earth, God is fair, God is sovereign, God knows every man's heart, he would get the word to them and that they could be saved. God's not going to send anybody to hell that doesn't deserve it and have the opportunity to be saved, if they wouldn't get saved.
I'm just saying this isn't the greatest way to go about it if you want people to hear you and listen to you. Because, like, I've been talking to you now and you're nice enough, but nobody's
because I have your attention. That person over there, I don't have their attention. I don't have their attention.
I chose to come up to you.
Yeah, because I got your attention.
Because I wanted to shit on you originally because of...
I could tell, that's why I ignored you, so you could calm down.
I calmed down because of the visceral response you initiated in me. I calmed down, decided that wasn't the best way for me to respond.
And I'm not attacking anybody, I'm not saying you, I'm not saying you.
That's how people are going to interpret.
I'm just preaching generally, and if they feel guilty, if I say homosexuality is wrong, and there's somebody over there, they don't care about homosexuality, or they think it's wrong
eating
too.
Crawfish is wrong. Who fucking cares?
Who says eating crawfish is wrong?
As far as I'm aware,
I like
it's in
crawfish.
the Bible too.
Well, that's for the ancient Israel.
It's still in the Bible, right?
Well, not everything in the Bible we need to do.
Oh my God.
The Bible told me.
You can't have it both ways, my friend.
So, are you telling me I have to build an ark?
Well, did God tell you to build an ark?
He told Noah to build an ark, and he told the nation of Israel not to eat.
Did he tell you?
No, he told Noah.
As far as I'm aware, you're not supposed to eat crawfish because they're bottom feeders and all that shit.
Who was God talking to?
I don't know.
The nation of Israel.
So only Israelis are supposed to not do that? Israel is only
a
country
because,
of like 60 years ago.
Because I'm talking about, that's why I keep saying ancient Israel. Okay, the law has been fulfilled by Christ. Okay, the dietary laws, the civil laws, okay, those were fulfilled by Christ. Now the moral law still stands: murder, adultery, theft, whatever. But their dietary clause, their clothing laws, those have been fulfilled. Those are already done. They don't have to do that. We can eat crawfish. It's okay. Eat whatever you want. And yeah, if you read the Bible, some things are written to the nation of Israel, and some things were written to the nation of Israel and everybody else.
That's a lot of layers, man.
Hey, you got to pay attention. You got to
digging through shit.
You got to educate yourself.
I mean, it's not in the 10 Commandments, so why does it really matter that much, right?
Well, if you're not an ancient Israelite, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the dietary laws and planting crops and all that other stuff.
Is being gay against the 10 Commandments? Isn't that the big ones? Isn't that the big ones, right?
It's even in the New Testament. It's even against Biology 101.
There's plenty of animals that do gay.
We are not animals. We are not to behave like animals. A praying mantis, a female praying mantis, will bite the head off the male after copulation. If your girlfriend bites your head off, that's not natural.
Plenty of spiders should do that too, and he created them, right?
Right. So we're not supposed to live like animals. Homosexuality. I mean, sex is supposed to bring forth children. Homosexuality brings forth disease and death. With what those men do to the other men, that's not love. That's not love.
They're doing wrong and they're doing everything
it's not the only thing they're doing wrong. It's pride. Pride is even worse. It's pride is the reason they do it in the first place. It's pride why people sin in the first place. It takes a proud heart to lie to somebody. It takes a proud heart to steal from somebody, thinking you should have their stuff when it's not yours. That's pride. That's what leads to that stuff. Actually,
makes sense.
Actually, in ancient Israel, God set up a wonderful welfare system. Okay, if you harvested your field or your olive trees or whatever, God said you can only go through those trees once. You could go around your field once. You weren't allowed to do the corners, and if you dropped anything, it fell on the ground. You weren't to pick it up. So the orphans and the widows, they could go out there and they could survive. That's how God made it, so people wouldn't have to steal for the widows and orphans. Now the men need to work, take care of business, sustain themselves.
Plenty of men that have done their best to work and still can't survive.
Well, it's because we live in a wicked society. It's not fair and oppresses people, and it inherently steals from people.
That's what I was trying to communicate earlier in this conversation. We kind of got around full circle here.
Yeah. This is a wicked society we're in, that's for sure. And one of these days, it's all going to be wiped out. It's all going to be burned up with a fervent heat, and there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. And I hope you're in it. I forgot your name already. I'm ashamed. Andrew, I hope you're in God's kingdom, that you will be in the new heaven and the new earth, and you won't be judged with the wicked.
I doubt that I will be.
That's your choice.
I don't believe in Christianity. I've seen too much to justify your beliefs, but I do respect your beliefs and your ability to have them. I just don't believe in them.
Well, Satan's been working very hard to take all kind of satanic systems like Catholicism, for example, and convince people that those are Christianity.
That was like the original Christianity outside of Judaism.
Right. You see, you're
until like 1500s. So that's when you got Martin Luther that came.
So you're believing the lies of the devil. You're believing the lies of the devil.
I'm talking about history on that one.
Well,
Judaism and then Catholicism were the two main, and then Martin Luther in like 1500s. And that's when everything else split off, and it's been subsects of all that. Yeah,
it's just more heresy, more false religion being spread around with a Christian name on it.
Communicating my understanding of history and how it all works.
Right. That's how the world views it. Yeah. But if something is Christian, or well, if you're questioning, is this Christian? You got to compare it with the Bible. What does the Bible say?
There's so many interpretations of it. I don't even know.
It's
most Christians I know don't even know.
Most of this is written at less than a 5th grade level, or less than the 8th grade level. Most of it's about a 5th grade level. Okay, there's nothing in this book to build that pagan temple down there that looks like a Greek Parthenon. Okay, yeah, that First Baptist Church right there with the pillars and all that stuff. That's a pagan temple. The Bible doesn't say to do that, and that's a Greek Parthenon, which is Greek. You know. Whatever religion, false religion.
Aesthetic.
Huh?
That's aesthetic.
Well, I understand it. It looks nice, but if somebody was a Christian, if somebody said, "What does God want me to do with my life?" They would never do that.
I've seen with my eyes what is claimed to be a nail from the cross.
Again, that's relic hunting.
The bones of Peter.
Yeah.
The relics of the 3 wise men.
Yeah, it's all lies. It's all fake. It's all false religion. It's idolatry is what it is, because people worship that stuff. Instead of worshiping God, who is spirit and can't be seen, sinful people want to worship stuff.
It inspires them to be religious.
Right, which isn't going to save their soul. It's not going to do them any good. It's a deception. It's a distraction.
What's the point of having these things if not for inspiration?
It's good for the devil to have them around so people don't get saved. So people think they're going to heaven by doing a bunch of religious conundrums, when in fact they're still on their way to hell. Even though they've given their time, they've given their money, they've given their devotion to a religious system, and they've never been born again.
They're doing what they believe to be right by their religious leaders. So is that so wrong?
Yeah.
As long as it's following the same.
It's not following the Bible.
Just because they have those symbols there, is that so wrong?
Yeah, it is. It is, because they worship those things.
I believe that they worship the thing that those things represent.
Yeah, that's what witches say too. That's what witches say when they got their idols and statues and stuff like that.
I don't believe in witchcraft either.
It's a form of witchcraft. It's what it is. Well, people wouldn't do it if it didn't work. That wouldn't make any sense. If they got no results, if it never, ever, ever, ever worked, they wouldn't do it.
It's all subjective, for the same reason. Just because it's not truly what you believe and what your scripture says, and it's all the same shit. We all just want to believe in something.
Well,
we believe in the things that we perceive to be right and perceive to have effects. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, people do that, but they're following their own wicked heart instead of following God.
They're doing what they think to be right.
That's the problem. I read that earlier. Where did I read that? Men do what's right in their own eyes. That's the problem. The pedophile does what's right in his own eyes. The police officer that murders a man on the street, he thought that was the right thing to do. That's the problem.
It's hard to argue with that logic.
You know, parents are going to go home tonight and Saturday night and get drunk in front of their children. They think that's right. They smoke crack. You know, probably in the city of Murfreesboro, some girl, some daughter is probably going to be molested by her father. He's doing what he thinks is right.
I can't agree with that logic. They're doing what they want to do.
He would justify himself. They're going to justify himself. You know, like I said, people have a conscience. They know in their heart of heart it's wrong. But they're going to justify themselves and say it's right. Make excuses.
If it's objectively right, they're not doing anything terrible wrong, right?
So you're saying there is an objective right and wrong?
It's always been objective. You know, if we're talking about the Crusades, that was objectively right in the eyes of religion.
Right. But was it truly right?
It's not for me to say, is it?
So if a man abuses his children, is that objectively right or wrong, or it's not for you to say?
I don't think it's right.
But it's not for you to say.
That's not history.
What do you mean it's not history? People have been
talking about somebody abusing somebody now. I don't think that's right.
Okay.
If we're talking about the religious views of why the Crusades happened, it's not for me to say if it's right, because that's supposed to be your God's corner, right?
Well,
the Crusades
that's the Catholics fighting. That's the Catholics fighting the Muslims. So
I don't think
they're both wicked religions, and of course they're going to have war.
And I've seen it. That's why I don't think it's right. Before that,
Right.
I thought it was justifiable. It's not justifiable in my eyes now. I don't think violence of any sort is justifiable.
You believe in self-defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Violence. Yeah.
There's violence.
So you do believe in violence?
Despite myself, yes.
In self-defense. Yeah. You got the right to defend yourself. Nobody has the right to come up and take your stuff or take your life.
Yeah, take my shit. I don't care.
Well, if you can do what you want with your stuff,
It's just
but
stuff.
yeah, it's not worth dying for. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but if
It's
somebody's
not
coming
killing
to,
anybody over it.
if somebody's going to take your life or hurt somebody that you love or care about, or maybe you care about the people that you work with,
I'm capable of incredible violence.
yeah, but you have the right to defend them, against a deadly threat or whatever. So when you just said that you don't believe in any kind of violence,
Ideologically. Honestly, if you're not doing any wrong by anybody else, what's the problem?
well, you may be offending your creator and your judge.
I'll figure that when I die.
That's a problem. And it's going to be too
If he has
late.
a problem with me living the best life that I think I can, then that's not a deity worth my time.
That's why he sent me out here, to tell you you've already failed. He's got a problem with it, and you're already in big trouble. That's why he sends us out. So at least you get the message. Yeah, and whether I tell you or not is between me and him. So I mean, like I said, I've preached to. I go up to Nashville and preach at events and things like that, tens and hundreds of thousands. It's between them and God. I'm just fulfilling the Great Commission. Jesus said to go into all the world and preach the gospel.
Appreciate your time.
All right,
I enjoyed
Andrew.
the talk. Like I said, this isn't the best way to get your message across, I don't think. Tone it down a little bit, people will probably be more responsive.
Possibly.
You're evoking a visceral response.
That's because they're crybaby sinners. That's why.
That's also not a very pleasing way to view it, is it?
Well,
Isn't it your job to be understanding and try to do it the best way?
I'm just out here to deliver a message. They don't like the message. I get that. I know. Everybody does that. I mean, lots and lots of people have come up and told me the same thing you said. And all of them hate God. And I'm trying to please God. So why would I listen to you? No offense. But why would I listen to you when I have God to tell me what to do?
I've listened to you.
Right. I'll listen, but I mean, as fine as I'm not talking about just passively listening. I'm talking about responding, and
That's what I've been doing. Actively listening and responding, and trying to understand. So wouldn't that be the best way to get people? Me and you having a conversation is probably the best way to get to me.
Well, not according to God, because I didn't get to you.
And you're not going to.
Well, there you go. So I've done it both ways out here tonight, and you have proven that sinners don't want to hear it, whether I'm speaking calmly and nice, down on the pavement, not standing up on my step stool, or when I'm being loud, still nobody wants to hear it.
Does seem a little pretentious, to be honest about that.
Well, there's practical reasons for that.
Okay. Well, it has been an honest pleasure.
Yep.
Even though I don't believe in your ideologies or religion.
And I don't believe in your ideologies and religion either.
But it doesn't mean we can't have a civil discourse.
That's right. That's right. You tell me your ideas, I tell you my ideas, and we got something to think about. And
Exactly.
there you go.
But I did enjoy the conversation.
All right, Andrew.
Till next time.
Maybe I'll see you out here again. Indiana, be safe out here.